Hello everyone and welcome to Red Hot Go, the show where I watch an anime, view a movie or play a game suggested by you and then give my first impressions on it. This time, by request of Kakashi Hatake, I will be giving The Promised Neverland a red hot go. Just to be clear, while I had never watched the anime, I had read enough of the manga to get the general gist of what the story would be about. But for reference, I never met Crone in the manga, so I have a feeling that I mustn't have read that far ahead. However, knowing where the show was going did give me an opportunity to see all the interesting foreshadowing in the first episode, when the show simultaneously showed us this sickly sweet and wholesome existence while sneaking in some uncomfortable imagery until the moment where the tone takes its most dramatic shift and we see where the show was going all along. Promised Neverland is essentially a prison break show, with the protagonist Emma and her friends Norman and Ray joining forces to break themselves and everyone else out of this human farm. Seeing their covert meetings discussing all the various factors that will ultimately hinder their escape takes me back to playing Sly Raccoon 2 of all things. Just the idea that they are piecing together a plan and chipping away at it piece by piece to ensure that it goes off without a hitch is just really interesting. I'm also quite interested in how this show could potentially showcase some brilliant dark storytelling. I have always felt that the difference between dark and edgy is an effort on the part of the characters. Both types of story need some level of misery, but an edgy story wallows in it while a dark story fights against it at all costs. With Emma in particular so determined to get everyone out, if she fails in any way, I'll be interested to see how she copes. However, while the darkness factor for this story is only potentially brilliant, what is already genuinely brilliant is how the show handles tension. The scene between Emma and the caretaker in particular just makes your skin crawl because you know what an awful person this caretaker is and how bad it would be for Emma to give away too much. So I watched this scene from the edge of my seat and breathed a sigh of relief when it was over. Now, I've been glad about a lot of scenes ending throughout this series, but this was the only one that I look back on positively. What really gets me excited about this show is how totally and utterly screwed these kids are. From Crone being able to capture all but 2 of them in under 20 minutes, to the weird demon race that we know nothing about and that I hope we can continue to know nothing about. Even the idea that escaping this orphanage is just step 1 is enough to get me pumped to watch more. If I had to say something negative about the show, I feel like the scene where Ray is brought into the fold could have been cut in half if some redundant dialogue was taken out. But that's not much more than a petty nitpick, and I swiftly got over it once the scene had ended. So, with an interesting and tense storyline, a big payoff being built up to, and a constant fear of what might happen to these kids, I am more than happy to give The Promised Neverland my very first red hot rating. And unless the quality of the show takes a serious dip, I can easily see myself watching this one all the way through. And that is it for this episode of Red Hot Go. I'd like to thank my patrons, Orion Tran, Quincy Chamberlain, German5, Lars Espen, Shark, and Data52. If there are any shows, movies, or games that you would like me to give my first impressions on, let me know in the comments. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you next time.